Caitlyn Clark has the entire basketball world on edge right now. Fans are holding their breath, wondering if she's about to take a leap into the Unrivaled league. The WNBA is practically crossing their fingers, hoping she turns down the massive offer. And as for her current team, Indiana Fever, they've made it loud and clear. They don't want to lose their star to the competition. Caitlyn earlier hinted she wasn't joining, but now there are some changes in the plan. Yep, that's right. The 3-on-3 league, with promises of fame, fortune, and a little bit of chaos, is looking more and more like Caitlyn Clark's next destination. They are offering her 10 times more than her WNBA salary. And let's just say, things are heating up faster than a summer court. Stay tuned till the end, as I will be showing you why Caitlyn Clark can potentially join Unrivaled League and the major signs related to this incredible deal. So let's get started with something big. Unrivaled has been racking up some big names recently. Lexi Hull, Kate Martin, and Aaliyah Boston all checking in. Suddenly, the no-name league isn't looking so small after all, is it? For a league that hasn't even played its first game, they're sure making waves, especially when you've got some of Caitlyn's best friends joining up.
Lexi Hull and Aaliyah Boston will both be playing in Unrivaled. Would you want Caitlyn to join if they could team up?
Before these recent developments, nobody was anticipating any Indiana Fever player to join this league, but now everybody's asking the same question. Is Indiana's finest Caitlyn Clark next in line? You'd think that Caitlyn would at least consider tagging along for the fun, but wait, it gets better. Just recently, the league announced they're expanding from 30 players to 36.
Hey guys, so I have some super exciting news. We are now moving from 30 roster spots to 36 in Unrivaled. We're able to do this because we outperformed our financial projections. And so now we get to do something that we wanted to do in the future, which is give more people spots in Unrivaled. This is such an amazing time in women's sports, and we're so thankful to all the positive people who have come out and supported us. We will be getting tickets soon. We will be getting the dates out soon. We'll be announcing everybody soon. So I know you guys have been asking for that information, and it is all coming. So stay tuned, and I can't wait to see everyone for this exciting and historic season of women's basketball.
This change is being made to accommodate Caitlyn in the league, because now it's going to be 6 teams, more spots, and more chances for the Caitlyn Clarks of the world to grab a seat at the table. But many people might be asking, why expand before a single game has even tipped off? Well, according to Nafisa Collier, it's because they've already hit their financial goals. Excuse me? They haven't even done anything yet. They've got no games, no stats, no highlights. But they've hit their financial goals. Sure, if by financial goals they mean throwing heaps of cash at Caitlyn Clark. Yes, that's right, people. As I will soon tell you, there's a lot of money involved. But before that, let me show you more evidence that is pointing towards this deal. Just in case the message wasn't already obvious, here comes Alex Bazell, the president of Unrivaled and conveniently Nafisa Collier's husband, saying they'll always have a spot for Caitlyn. Here's what he exactly said about the deal. We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlyn Clark. We are not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready. You know, just a casual, oh Caitlyn, don't feel pressured. We're not hounding you or anything. But also, if you ever want to make 7 figures and play in a beach town with your besties, you know where to find us. Smooth move, Alex. And in case we have a spot for her wasn't enough of a nudge, there's been some serious coin thrown into the equation. Rumor has it that Unrivaled is offering Caitlyn their league equity and $1 million contract as a joining deal. Yes, you heard that right. $1 million. For a league that hasn't even played its first game. It's like Messi signing with Inter Miami, but without the soccer balls and neon lights. This isn't just a regular paycheck, it's a ticket to the big leagues, with a side of control over the league itself. Basically, if Caitlyn Clark signs, she's not just a player, she's part owner, part celebrity, and part legend in the making.
Caitlyn Clark is in talks with Unrivaled for over $1 million in salary for a 3-month period and significant equity.
I mean, this is a deal so mouth-watering that it is not going to be easy to say no, much less ignore it. Meanwhile, back at Indiana Fever headquarters, they're probably sweating bullets at the thought of losing their golden child. Look, Caitlyn's the pride and joy of the Fever, the shining star they've built their future around. And now, they're watching her potentially throw on a different jersey in the offseason for a league that's literally brand new. Can you blame them for being nervous? The thought of their franchise player risking injury in a startup league is enough to send any WNBA official into a panic attack.
According to Sports Business Journal, the WNBA team is keen for Clark to focus on Indiana and not commit to a 3-month salary elsewhere.
It's not like their fears are unfounded either. We've seen plenty of WNBA players head overseas only to come back with an injury or two as souvenirs. Let's be real, this isn't the NBA where teams have enough players to rotate injuries like a deck of cards. In the WNBA, every player counts, and the fever. They need Caitlyn in one piece if they're going to make any kind of impact next season. But then again, it is hard not to imagine the possibilities if Caitlyn actually joins Unrivaled and reunites with her besties, Aaliyah, Lexi, and Kate. This isn't just some off-season run, it's practically a summer camp for basketball stars.
They basically are giving her own team. That's why Kate, Aaliyah, and Lexi were added. Kelsey will be added next.
Think of the chemistry they'd build, the skills they'd sharpen, and the drama they'd stir up. What if they're all on the same team? We'd be looking at an all-star lineup every single game. I mean, this deal is offering so much more than just a boring off-season side quest.
Sources say Caitlyn Clark and Unrivaled are in talks on a $1 million plus offer, with equity included.
And let's talk about the game style itself. Unrivaled isn't playing the typical 5-on-5. It's 3-on-3 madness. Imagine Caitlyn Clark with extra room to maneuver, more opportunities to shoot, and more one-on-one chances to humiliate defenders. It's practically tailor-made for her style. This format isn't about big bruisers clogging up the paint. It's a finesse game, a shooter's paradise. And Caitlyn, she could light it up like a 4th of July fireworks show. It's the kind of environment where she wouldn't just play, she'd dominate. But this is not all, guys. Let me tell you another juicy detail regarding this story. Caitlyn Clark and Nafisa Collier share the same agent. Coincidence? I think not. With Nafisa being a co-founding member of Unrivaled League and that close connection between their agents, you have to wonder if some serious backdoor talks are already underway. Think about it. This isn't just business, it's practically family. If Caitlyn does decide to jump into Unrivaled, she's got friends in high places. And let's be real, that kind of inside track could make her transition as smooth as a layup. Now here's where the plot thickens. You'd think the potential for big money and an expanded platform would be all Caitlyn Clark needs to consider Unrivaled, right? Wrong. There's one major catch, and it's a doozy. Dejanai Carrington. Yep, the same Dejanai Carrington who's become the poster child for controversy ever since her infamous eye poke incident with Caitlyn. Now, I don't know about you, but the prospect of Caitlyn and Dejanai squaring off in the same league, it's got drama written all over it. Who could forget that wild moment? That wasn't just any play. It was practically the incident of the year. The shove, the look, the sheer audacity. And let's be honest, Carrington's eye poke didn't exactly win her any fans.
Dejanai Carrington stabbed Caitlyn Clark in the eye with a fingernail. It could have damaged the career of the WNBA's meal ticket and the biggest American women's sports star of all time.
You'd think Dejanai would lay low after something like that, maybe even smooth things over a bit, but no, she's still out there being the same Dejanai Carrington, the queen of on-court tension and unfiltered over-competitiveness. Now, imagine Caitlyn Clark signing with Unrivaled and facing off against Dejanai, not just once, but multiple times. This isn't a one-off WNBA matchup. This would be a recurring showdown. Can you imagine the first time these two go head-to-head? The tension will be so thick you could cut it with a knife. And look, we know Caitlyn doesn't back down, and neither does Dejanai. The sparks alone might set the court on fire. And let's not ignore the fan reaction here. Oh, they're buzzing all right, and not necessarily in a good way. Fans are practically begging Caitlyn to think twice before getting into the Unrivaled ring with players like Dejanai. They're saying she's needlessly troubling herself and stepping into a mess that isn't worth the hassle. I mean, can you blame them? Caitlyn's career is on the rise. She's got everything to lose and very little to gain from locking horns with a league full of Dejanai Carrington-style drama. And if you are following the WNBA closely, Carrington's made it pretty clear that she's not interested in changing her style anytime soon. She's the same hard-nosed, ruthless competitor who isn't afraid to get physical. And let's be real, there's no love lost between her and Caitlyn. If Caitlyn does join Unrivaled, she'll have to keep one eye on the hoop and the other on Carrington's hand. This isn't just playful rivalry, folks. There's a real risk factor here. Fans aren't just worried about Caitlyn's feelings, they're worried about her health. Think about it. If Caitlyn gets caught up in a rough and tumble with players like Carrington, who's to say she'll come out unscathed? All it takes is one bad fall, one collision, and suddenly her WNBA future is on the line. And for what? A few extra bucks in the offseason?
Unrivaled is actually a reality show first, basketball league second.
For some fans, and maybe for her as well, it's just not worth the risk. Fans are practically shouting from the rooftops, "Don't do it, Caitlyn. Think about your legacy." And you know, maybe they have a point. Caitlyn's on the path to becoming one of the all-time greats, but stepping into the Unrivaled ring with Dejanai could make it seem like she's chasing petty drama instead of history. Why give Carrington the satisfaction of dragging her down when Caitlyn could be soaring to new heights? But here's the thing about Caitlyn, she's got that killer instinct, the Mamba mentality. She's a competitor at heart, and if there's one thing competitors hate, it's backing down. So while fans are chanting, "Stay out of the mess," Caitlyn might just be thinking, "Bring it on," because nothing fuels a superstar quite like proving her critics wrong. And if anyone can handle the heat, it's Caitlyn Clark. And here's the real kicker, folks. This isn't just about one season or one league. Caitlyn Clark joining Unrivaled would be a game changer in the world of women's sports. This isn't about following the path, it's about blazing one. Imagine being part of a league that lets players control their image, their brand, and their paycheck. By making this move, Caitlyn could do something few athletes have done, redefine the terms of being a professional athlete. But Caitlyn's still got the WNBA to think about. If she goes off and builds her reputation in Unrivaled, does it come at the cost of her WNBA legacy? Some fans say she's better off staying loyal to the Fever, the team that drafted her, the league that gave her a platform. But here's the thing, when was the last time you heard of an athlete shaking up their legacy by expanding it? By trying new things, Caitlyn isn't just a WNBA player, she's a pioneer. And if you thought Caitlyn's decision to join Unrivaled was just about money and rivalry, you might want to think again, because the fan opinion here is another hot take, and they're bringing up some hard truths about the WNBA and how they've handled Caitlyn Clark. In fact, if you ask certain fans, they'd prefer to see Caitlyn take her talents to Unrivaled precisely because of how the WNBA has failed her, and frankly, failed them as WNBA fans as well. Many fans have expressed their opinions on X.
I hope she gets paid somewhere outside the racist at WNBA. Watch them go back to irrelevancy.
And you can't exactly blame them either. Caitlyn came into the WNBA as this once-in-a-generation talent, someone who brings the excitement, the skill, the fans. And how did the league respond? Not exactly with open arms and respect. Time and again, we've seen situations where Caitlyn faced hard fouls, disrespect on the court, and the kind of intensity that, let's be honest, borders on targeting. The WNBA had multiple opportunities to step in, say something, and show support. And yet, crickets. This isn't just about one player, people. It's about respect for the game. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, racism. This isn't just about Caitlyn Clark as an individual. It's about how the league as a whole addresses issues that affect its players and fans alike. During the playoffs, when tensions were at their peak and the world was watching, the WNBA had a chance to make a powerful statement, to stand up and say, "No to racism." But did they? Nope. Instead, they brushed it aside, hoping maybe no one would notice. But the fans out there, let's just say they did more than just notice. And after facing backlash upon backlash, you'd think the WNBA would at least pretend to take the issue seriously. But instead, it's as if they're hoping this will all blow over like it's just another media hiccup. Newsflash, it's not going away. Fans want real action, not just a quick hollow statement. They want to see the league actually care about its players, their well-being, and yes, their experiences with racism on and off the court. Now here's where Unrivaled steps in. Imagine Caitlyn joining a league that actively stands up for its players, a league where diversity, respect, and unity aren't just empty buzzwords. If Unrivaled can make a point of supporting players in a way that the WNBA hasn't, fans are gonna flock to it. We're talking about a league that could position itself as the players' league, the place where athletes like Caitlyn Clark are given the support they deserve. And don't think for a second that Unrivaled doesn't know this. They've probably got social media campaigns lined up and branding strategies ready to go, all just waiting for the Caitlyn Clark seal of approval. The second she signs, every sports network, every media outlet, and every fan account from here to the moon will be talking about Unrivaled. They'd go from a baby league to that league practically overnight. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon, and Unrivaled knows it better than anyone.
The newly founded Unrivaled League is expected to be in a full court press in an attempt to secure Caitlyn Clark for their inaugural season.
Of course, every fan with a Twitter account suddenly thinks they're a sports analyst now. Oh, Caitlyn shouldn't do it. It's too risky. Or, it's her chance to make a mark. Everyone's got an opinion, but the truth, Caitlyn's sitting on a golden opportunity that most athletes dream about. So yeah, you better believe she's weighing her options carefully. So here we are, folks, standing on the edge of what could be one of the most exciting decisions in women's basketball. Caitlyn Clark joining Unrivaled Unrivaled could send ripples through the entire sports landscape, pushing other players to seek more freedom, more control, and more money. It's more than just a league switch, it's a make it or break it situation. But will she take the plunge? That's the million-dollar question, and we're all waiting with bated breath. Alright, what do you think? Should Caitlyn take the leap and join Unrivaled, or stick with the WNBA and play it safe? Let us know in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe to stay up to date on this epic saga. The Caitlyn Clark story is just getting started.